This was much easier. This is part two because I was going live using a Riverside audio. So thank you so much for joining back. We are going to continue with the masterclass that we are going through. I'm going to share my screen again and on. So mistake number two is believing that fame means unrealistic expectations or a threat. What does it mean? It means that for me, for example, I grew up being the oldest person, the oldest child. So although I was not famous worldwide, I was famous within the community. I was popular within the family. Every time something happens, people would want to know what is in my life. Anytime someone enters our home, the first thing they would look for would be me. They would look into, when I grew up, they would look into what were my grades, what am I wearing for the next class party, what am I going to pick as my higher studies, what am I going to do for my masters, who am I getting married to, what am I going to be wearing, etc. So I have always been the visible one, the one who was seen. And as the one who was seen, my parents would always tell me that you are the oldest one. The reputation of this family is on your shoulders. So you must be perfect. You must get great grades. You must not date. You must marry the right family. You must be a good wife. You must be a good sister. You must be someone who is good at the things that happens in the house. You must be good with your finances. You must look good. You must look great. You should do extracurricular activities. You should also be emotionally sane, like emotionally intelligent. I should also be well behaved everywhere I go. I should speak good language. Even the words that I use were also being monitored and constantly criticized and ridiculed. Because if I be the person that I truly am, which is who I am right now, where I read every book, it doesn't matter what background it is from. I would read the Quran, I would read the Bible, I would read the Bhagavad Gita, I would read anything. I would read about the aliens as well. I would read whatever comes to here. And I'm being my authentic self. But this was not the case when I grew up. This sort of attention freaked me out. So when I got divorced, and when all the people started to look into why this happened to me, why, what is it something to do with me, is it something to do with the other person, what is the deeper reason behind it, I started to get criticized more and more again. It was about I didn't try enough, I should have stayed more, I should have suffered a little bit more. This is just, I don't, or maybe let's say I came out of it, I am happy too fast, I'm sad too fast, or I'm not sad enough, or I'm not joyful enough. Maybe I didn't make the right decision. So visibility and being seen for me now became associated with unrealistic expectations and criticisms. I was also being punished for being myself. So if you were someone who probably were the oldest one, who were probably always seen, and then for you to being visible would mean these unrealistic expectations. It would mean so much stress, anxiety, a lot of burden. So subconsciously, you would feel like you don't want to be visible anymore, you want to be the hidden one, you want to be invisible, you don't want to dress up anymore, you go to a party, you go to an event, you don't want to be too good looking, you don't want to wear the high heels, you don't want to wear fake lashes or like a bright colored nail polish or bright colored clothes. You always want to be the someone who just blends in so that you don't attract any sort of evil eye or attention or criticisms to yourself. Maybe when you were a child and you tried to explore and be yourself, maybe you were the loud one, maybe you loved dancing, maybe you just liked shaking your ass, which is what my daughter likes doing all the time. You were probably asked to shut up, stop talking, be quiet, and sit in a corner. Then as a child, you would have subconsciously ingrained that into your head, thinking that being myself is not good, being seen is not good. So you would think that you don't want to be seen, you want to be the invisible one. You don't want to ask the questions that spin in your head. You do not want to be the one who raises your hand and asks questions in class. Nor do you want to be the one who raises their hand and tells the manager that this is what I think about this meeting. This is the kind of proposal that I have for this problem that we are facing in the department. Because what if your solution is criticized? So you don't want that. But is that the truth? Because the truth is that every single one of us want to be seen. We want to be visible. We want to be loved by everybody. We want to be accepted by everybody, right? We don't want to be the invisible one. We don't. In fact, it just comes to my mind that the people who do these serial murders, the serial killers, the reason why they do that with such elaborate methodologies is just so that they would be seen finally. Finally, the governments and the investigators and the CIDs would look into this person and they would, give some attention to this person. So they like it. We all like to be visible. We all like to be famous. The only thing we don't want to be is to be ridiculed or criticized. But what if you could be famous for being yourself and still be loved, still be adored? What if you are the one who sets expectations on what you want to do in life? You don't listen to what anyone else says. You set your own expectations, your own goals, your own way of living life, and then still others would love you for who you are. So, what if we do not realize this truth and we continue to think that we like to be invisible, we are always the anxious one, we want to not be seen, etc.? What happens if we continue living our life this way? We will live the rest of our life not knowing who or what my authentic self is. You will also again attract fake friendships that are misaligned relationships, because if you are someone who is afraid of being your authentic self, you will attract similar people who are also afraid of being their authentic self, so who would fake it to just try to fit in. And all of you together would think about how we can continue to be invisible, how we can continue to shut our truth and suffer more in silence. Do we want that? No, we don't. You will also never know your full potential, because what I think my biggest inspiration has been my sister Twinkle, who had 4,000 followers at the same time when I was also having 4 or 5,000 followers. And suddenly, within like a couple of months, she hit 1 million followers from all over the world. And she did not fake who she was while doing that. She would create reels and videos where she's just lying on bed and talking about the crap that's going through her head. And those videos were accepted. Her followers just overnight shot up. And then I saw the potential that happens. She was suddenly getting called for brand collaborations, sponsorship. She's being traveled to different countries by Emirates. She's being given free things by Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Fendi. I don't even think I'm pronouncing these brands properly, but she's being treated well everywhere she goes. She walks out into the malls or we go anywhere, there would be at least two people who would come and say, "Hey, I follow your content. I'm a huge fan of yours." And she loves it. She doesn't try to be someone she is not. She is being her complete authentic self, and people loved it. People loved it not because she looks a certain way or she speaks a certain way. No, the reason why people love it is because people want to be authentic too. They also want to be themselves and still be loved for who they are. And that is the sort of inspiration that they're taking from someone like that. So, what if that is what your future would also be like? What if that is your potential? And what if you're shutting down that potential that is within you just because of the fear that you have of being seen or being visible? What happens when you stop doing that? When you stop wanting to be invisible, when you stop wanting to just fit in, you would suddenly be recognized, admired, and even respected for who you are. You will finally feel relieved because now you don't have to be the quiet Tanya in class, the funny Tanya in that Mallu group, or the studious Tanya at work, or the stylish Tanya on social media. No, you would be the same badass Tanya everywhere, at work, social media, in the friend circle, at church, everywhere. You would be the exact same person everywhere. And do you know the relief that comes with just being yourself everywhere you go, where you don't have to fear your cover being broken? What if at work people come to know that I'm doing a YouTube channel? Like, this was my fear for a couple of years. I don't care. This is who I am. The topics that I talk about on my YouTube channel are the same things I talk about with my colleagues. And I think they probably think that I'm a weirdo, but do I care? I don't. I feel absolutely amazing, shocking people telling them, dude, aliens exist. Oh my gosh, I speak to God all the time. It's fascinating. It's wonderful. It is liberating. And third benefit is that you will never have to suffer in silence, for now you know how to speak up and communicate exactly how you feel. The words that I used to use to describe who I am was, I'm so boring, I am cuckoo, I'm weird, I'm a weirdo, I'm a psycho. These were the words that I used before because I didn't understand what I was trying to be. Now I understand that I embody a different kind of frequency. And when I fully embrace that frequency, the right kind of people would come into my life too. I find the things that I talk about really cool. I didn't understand I was talking about consciousness, or I was interested in consciousness before. I thought it was just weirdo stuff because I was always into sacred books. I was always into frequencies. The music I like would be chants, and I'm a Christian. So a Christian listening to the Hindu chants were considered to be weird stuff, like funny, etc. Not anymore. Now people come and ask me, how do I get into it? I'm respected more. Now others who watch my content send me other videos and tell me, hey, it seems like you are on the right path. So they're also trying to explore it. You don't have to change anyone, but when you live your life authentically, when you be who you want to be, you're going to see a difference in the way people treat you. You're also going to see a difference in the people who are in your life. It would be people who accept you for who you are because you're not shying away or hiding it. Oh my gosh, is the screen blank once I started sharing it? Really? Could you not see my screen, Saumya? Now you can see, but before you couldn't see the screen. Is that true? Could you see the screen before? You couldn't see the screen before. All right, no worries, my guys. We are going to continue with the masterclass without the screens, and I'm just going to read it out to you. So, this was what I was talking about, which is the second mistake where you are trying to. What was I talking about? Yes, about fame, being seen, and being visible. Because being famous is a frequency. It's a frequency of you being fearless about being seen, and people can see that. When you go to a party, if you want to be seen for who you are, you would pick the brightest color. You would pick the gaudiest jewelry. You will wear smoky eyes and fake lashes and long nails and the tallest stilettos or heels because you want to stand out. You want to be seen for who you are. You want to be visible. That is the frequency. It's nothing else. And when you embody that frequency where you are no longer afraid of being seen, you walk into your office and you look, is everyone looking at me? I wear the best clothes, I do my hair well, and I walk with my head held high, and I smile and I look at everyone into their eyes. That is the frequency called fame. And that is nothing to be afraid of. This fear has been ingrained into us probably because we may have lived a lot of lives in our past life where we were born as a woman and women did not have these sort of freedom or liberty that they had before. So they were killed or shut down or punished. Maybe it was our family members, maybe it was the women in our family, our ancestors who were punished for speaking up. And that is in our epigenetics, that is in our DNA, and that is what is making us feel afraid to speak up. But there is no longer any fear to speak up what you feel because we are now living in a time where everybody says whatever the F they want to, and no one can punish them. In fact, if you say something different and extreme and viral, that is when weird, that is when it goes viral. There were things that I spoke about on my social media, Instagram, where I thought that once I post it, oh, I'm going to go so viral. But you know what happened? Nothing happened. I thought once I post it, people are going to message me or send me hate. Well, I did. Nothing happened. There was a video that I posted about Jesus Christ probably being married to Mary Magdalene. I thought that that's it. I am definitely going to get some sort of punishment for it. Nothing happened. People moved on. Speak up. Because although nothing happened, what happened for me was that post changed me. I realized that, wow, I can actually post and say whatever I want and there are no repercussions. That's so cool. And every time I keep posting content like this where I feel like, oh, I'm going to get so punished, but then nothing happens, and sometimes I'm probably applauded, my confidence level goes up a little bit higher. My head goes up a little bit more. I stand a little bit taller. Are you guys who are following my content noticing the fact that I was slouching before and then I went like this? No. But this is what happens when you start speaking up. When you start saying, speaking up your truth the first time and you see there were no repercussions, you're like, oh, okay. The second time you see, ooh, okay, that's so cool. And the third time, wow, that's amazing. And the fourth time, you would just start speaking it and you realize there would not be any repercussions at all. So start speaking up, start speaking your truth. This podcast, in fact, when I before starting it, I thought that if I start this podcast, I'm probably going to get fired or something because I'm going to be talking about aliens and I'm going to be talking about death and I'm going to talk about people being able to communicate with Jesus Christ. Now I post videos about me communicating with Jesus Christ and what Jesus Christ told me. And bro, nothing happened. Nothing happened. It just became the new normal. Remember, you were never meant to fit in. You were born to magnetize the universe's abundance with ease. And let neither the fear of being seen nor the guilt of your past sins dim this truth. Because what is sin? Sin is just an error in perception. When I was younger, I thought that dating a boyfriend was a big sin. It was just an error in my perception. Now that I'm in my 30s, I've realized that dating was not a sin at all. However, in my youth, I considered this to be a big sin, and I used to go and confess probably every single day to wash the sin off from me so that God would still give me good grades and I would still get a good job. Remember that you are God in human form. So, what should you be doing? What we should be doing to get rid of all these shadows and these self esteem or these confidence issues that we come across is just by trying to embody the God frequency. Okay. I recently asked someone, listen, I am God. Do you know that? Do you know that you are God too? And he said, no, I'm not going to ever believe that I'm God because then what if I would suddenly do bad stuff? How? So, what does God mean to him? What is God? God is the frequency of pure love. If you keep saying, I am God, I am God, I am God, I am the divine spark of God, you are going to start embodying that pure love. You're going to be a kinder person. You're going to be a more compassionate human being. You're going to be someone who's going to infuse love into everything that you do, into the podcast, into the dress you wear, into the plant that you are planting. In every single thing, you're going to embody love. And when you embody love, people can sense it when someone is a loving person and they would start to treat you also with love. It doesn't mean that you see that this is the problem because in all the sacred books, if you look at the Bible, the Old Testament, the God in the Old Testament was a very angry person. The God in the Quran is also pretty angry. They all talk about how if you don't do something you're going to get punished so much and it's only a certain group of people who's going to be given a lot of freedom or the land, etc. But is that what God is? God is ultimate pure love to every single person regardless of your race or your gender or your ancestral line or the reputation. You are going to be given ultimate pure love, and that is who God is. So start to embody that love. The way I do it is by chanting the mantra Aham Brahmasmi, which basically means I am Brahma, and Brahma in Hinduism means the creator God. So when I keep chanting that I am God, I am divine, I begin to embody that divine spark. And when I do that, if I realize that I am God and that I am the divine spark, when I come across you in front of me, won't I also recognize that you are divine, that you are also the spark of God? If I believe that I am God, do you think I'm going to now start treating you crap? Treating you badly? No. If I recognize I am God, I'm going to also recognize the God in you. I'm also going to recognize the God in the child. I'm also going to recognize the God in a plant, in an animal, and I'm going to treat everybody with pure love, respect, unconditional love, and free will to choose what they want, right? So, this is the ultimate answer to all the problems. It is to try to see what you can do to embody that frequency of God, the divine frequency. I know this has been a very long content. There's also more phases that I've done, which I think would probably be something that I would talk about in the next live. So when I go live again in September, we are going to dive deeper into what we could be, what a spiritual awakening is, and what are the few steps that happen when you are going through a spiritual awakening. Thank you so much, Saumya, for saying. So, we would look into phase one, which is the awakening, phase two, which is dark night of the soul, phase three, shadow integration, phase four, alignment and embodiment, phase five, unity consciousness, phase six, would be the realization of divinity. So it is not easy, let's say, for you to get to the final stage of I am God, the final stage, but there would be stages and phases before that. And we would dive deeper into those phases when I go live again in September. But until then, I understand that this entire period of self realization is a lonely journey. You would have nobody who can understand what you're going through. And one of the reasons why I started the podcast was because I felt lonely, because I felt like nobody could understand me and I couldn't even communicate what I was feeling. Which is why I'm here to tell you that you do not have to feel lonely on this journey at all. There is a membership that you can join in Celeste Evolve community. It's just $2. Once you join the community, you would be able to meet up with the other friends as well. You can ask me questions. We can have deep dive conversations on the topics that you want to get answers on, or if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me, go ahead, or you want to meet with the other people, absolutely amazing. So let's do that. This would be the perfect time for you to join this membership. We would have also, I'm planning to bring up speakers who came on the podcast to come and communicate with you and have two live sessions where you can ask them questions. It's amazing the fact that I get to ask questions to these brilliant spiritual gurus for 1.5 to 2 hours, right? It's amazing. It's cool in itself. But I want you guys to also experience the same. So feel free to go to the YouTube channel. And when you go to the YouTube channel, you would see the membership platform. Click there, and there are different tiers, but pick any tier and join the community. Thank you once again for watching this live. By you watching the live, you are giving me the space to speak up, to be authentic and be truthful. And when you do that, you're going to attract more and more people who would hold space for you to speak up your truth. And I know that Saumya has been watching the live. So thank you, Saumya, for watching the live. And to everyone else who had joined it, thank you so much for holding the space for me. And I hope you would continue to do this for others and also experience others holding space for you. Thank you once again. I will speak to you again next month on 9/9 at 5 p.m. Dubai time. Bye.